how we can automate business workflows using Gemini. All right, so what is a workflow? Let's get some basics out of the way. So a workflow is a repeatable sequence of tasks. That's what it is. So it could be you're onboarding a client, looking through invoices like you were just talking about, or trying to transfer that financial information over to another spreadsheet, or even triaging a support ticket. So usually with a workflow, it starts with a trigger first. There has to be an event that kicks it off. The email arrives, right? We all have the stressed out inbox. And now when the email arrives, that beautiful inbox zero that we may have taken months to get to has now just been ruined by an email. So it arrives, but that's the trigger event. Once it's in there, there needs to be action taken, either if we're going to do it weekly or it's going to just weigh on us and our mind until we actually get it done. So now what's the action that needs to happen? The email arrives. Let's say I'm going to follow along this email workflow for a moment and say the email arrives, and the next action is to respond or acknowledge the email or to review it to see even if we need to respond to it. Okay. And then the outcome is, what's the result? What do we want to be the successful outcome? Well, if it's just promotional email or even spam, then we want it to just go away and never to come back. Or if it's promotional, we might want to save it to a folder because maybe we want to review that later, and we will keep it there and then feel guilty about it. Or maybe I'm telling too much of my own tale, and then I'll just delete it because I had great intentions, but of course the time's already passed. Or could we be that we want to reply to it, which is what I do with all of your emails. Anytime you reply to any of the emails that I send out to you, I read each and every one of those. And so I set those aside to reply, usually when I can get to that once every other week or every week. I'm trying to get better at it because I've got AI helping me out, at least sort, so that I can give you the human reply, because I happen to want to do that and believe in the human in charge, giving my human uniqueness as a response, not just a canned response. You didn't just reply or send your information to me just for me to go, okay, got it, thanks so much. Okay, so we have the trigger, action, and outcome, and I spent some time there because it's important for us to know the 3 steps and stages of a workflow. So we also need to know what the friction factor is, which is, where is the issue where it becomes manual? That copy and pasting that somebody talked about in their financial spreadsheets, that can become very daunting and mind numbing too. But you can make mistakes when it becomes mind numbing, right? So the interaction trigger, which part of your workflow is the biggest bottleneck then? Is it starting the task? Are you a great starter, right? Are you a great starter? Are you great at moving data between the apps? Or maybe you're a starter at it, but you don't move the data. You get to the point where you have to move the data, and it's like, oh, I'll do that later. And later never comes. Those cracks of time never happen. Or could it be that it's in getting the final approval? Because that also happens on my end, because we do work with meeting planners and meeting organizers. And so if I send them something, in my mind, it's off and it's in your court. But I have to get better about having a tickler file and being amazing like Brittany to remember to get back in contact, because we asked them for a response and now it's been 11 days later and we haven't heard from them. But for me, it's off on their court. And so getting final approval often is my slowdown. All right. All right. Let's speak to my AI here and go through this next one. I'm an e-commerce brand owner preparing to launch a new organic face serum, and I need to figure out our ideal retail price. I want you to build an interactive product pricing optimization tool. Inside this workspace include manual input fields from our main cost, manufacturing cost per unit, packaging cost per unit, and average shipping cost per unit. Based on these inputs, calculate the total landed cost and display a big, clear recommendation for our retail price using a standard 70% gross profit margin. Finally, include interactive sliders for customer discount percentage, like 15% off, launch sale, and ad spend per acquisition. So I can visualize exactly how promotions and marketing costs will impact our actual take-home net profit per bottle before we launch. That was a heck of a prompt, everybody. And the reason I did that is not because I want to overwhelm you. I want to show you and really take on a test drive what Gemini can do for you. I am going to break this down and break down, like we were talking about the emails, but I want you to see this just so that you can see the vision that I see. And we know that there's a mountain over there that we can get to. So look at what it's doing. It's giving us the pricing optimizer right here, because I had Canvas on. It's giving us the recommended price. It is giving us the per bottle price there. This blew me the way the first time that I ran this prompt. So I want you to also see what this prompt looks like too, because look at all the pieces of information that it had in it. This is the human in charge, because I'm not just relying on, what do you think my price should be, AI? I am telling it very clearly that I want a 70% gross margin. I want it to look at our manufacturing cost per unit, our packaging cost, and I gave it the permission to look in our workspace. When I said here, use our pricing optimization tool inside the workspace. So build an interactive, I said. I called it out. I gave it permission to go there and to do that. Based on these inputs, I needed to no more than a 15% off launch sale. I gave it all of these different parameters here. See how I did that? I just wanted everybody to make sure you see this. So these are some of the things that it can do for you. I mean, it can do this for, you can use it for video editing. You can use it for invoice reviews to review your invoices, everybody. It can do your financial reviews. Okay, so that is really good in Notebook LM, everyone. So that's exciting to do. And it also can work for your Google business profile. All right, deep breaths, everybody. I did a big prompt there. Now let's slow it down for a moment and break it up into pieces, right? The trigger first. What's the trigger that we want? Let's start with email, because I did an e-commerce pricing one, but now let's go to email and talk about that for a moment. All right, so I'm going to go to a new chat. And remember, when I started that, I went to Canvas, and I'm just going to go to email. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask AI to, would you look at my inbox and go directly to Gmail? I need you to find all of the emails that came in today. I want you to prioritize that by ones I need to respond to, put any invoices or receipts into the second paragraph or second batch that you actually come up with. And the last batch, I need you to put together any informational newsletters that came up. And then if you would just put the promotions, what their headlines are at the very bottom, because I'd like to scan this pretty quickly. All right, I have over 300 emails that come in on a daily basis. So what I'm doing is asking it to go in, and it's telling me, all right, it's got an informational newsletter. So there's nothing that needed action. This is my demo email. So of course there's nothing that needs real action here, but you can see that there are informational newsletters here. So I can see this newsletter, I can tap on it and go straight to the newsletter.